want to create a little mobile here, and I want to use this as an analogy to understand my art. Now, picture being at the hub or the center of like a bicycle tire or a wheel, okay? Not the tire, but the wheel. And you have the hub, and then you have the wheel out, or the rubber out here, and then you have all the spokes, okay? Well, the center of the hub of my art, really, it's the art and science of Mukjong, and or what key finding concepts is. It's extracting essential elements from all these preeminent martial arts systems. So if you look down now at the ground here, just check this out. So let's say this yin and yang symbol represents the hub of my art. And really, you'd have to go, well, here's Kempo. Because Kempo is, I'm an 8th degree black belt in, I've been doing it the longest. So that's really the center, you know, that's an important spoke of my art. And now let's come over here and let's add Wing Chun. Okay, and this isn't going to be exactly groovy here, but you'll figure it out. Now let's add Doce Pares here. And now let's add Penjak Silat. And then let's add Tai Chi. So these are really my main arts. Okay, so each stick, one represents Kempo, one represents Tai Chi, one's Wing Chun, one's Doce Pares, and one is Penjak Silat. And so this here is the hub or the center of the heart of it all. And then if you can imagine, like a wagon wheel or whatever, that the outside here creates a circle which becomes the wholeness of my art. Okay? So that's a pretty simple diagram. But it's really not like that. That's a cut and paste approach. And now I want you to, you know, this is a bit conceptual, and conceptual analysis in what we show is the practical application. But let's take this apart again, and let's, what I'm looking for is by extracting essential elements from preeminent martial arts systems, I'm really looking for a fundamental continuity. What is real about all of them? It's extracting essential elements was a part of the process. But once I had the essential elements, it's like Bruce Lee came along and said, absorb what is useful. I'm saying extract what is essential. So I extracted essential elements out of Kempo, Wing Chun, Doce Pares, Tai Chi, and Penjak Silat, Tongkat, Sarak, and what I've learned from each one of those. And you could say at an equal level, they're all 20% of the whole of me, which really isn't true because they fluctuate and change as I move and think and process, okay? Plus there's another layer to this. I'm going to get to all this. Stay with me on this, because this, you know, understanding how I think is understanding my art. So extracting the essential elements, extracting what is essential as opposed to absorb what is useful. What's happening is I discovered or noticed or became aware of a fundamental continuity with these preeminent martial arts systems. And those became the glue or the mortar of my brick wall of the art and science of Mukjong. So looking back down now at this diagram here, so there, the yin and yang represents the hub, and each one of those are the singular arts that come together. But let's take 3 of those arts away for now. And really, 2 of the prominent, well, they're all prominent in what I do. We've got Kempo, and we've got Wing Chun. But what's happened is, if I have Kempo here, and I have Wing Chun here, they're not separate anymore that come into a center. What happens is, once the 2 arts are known, and then they're put together, from the center point of what once was the hub, is now, this is Kempo in its singularity. This is Kempo combined with the knowledge of Wing Chun once the intersection of the arts occur. This was Wing Chun from here, but once it connects to Kempo, it's now, here's Wing Chun and Kempo knowledge combined. So the hub is really the intersection of where the arts are. And so both are represented. This is Kempo pre-Wing Chun, this is Kempo post-Wing Chun here, and so on. If you added Dosei Pars, singular, it's here. But what happens is, once you cross-reference it to Penjak Silat, or excuse me, to Wing Chun and Kempo, now you've got Dosei Pars that's here, but now from here to here, it's absorbed, it's understood or gelling with the fundamental continuity of the Wing Chun and the Kempo. And then, so this is extremely important. So people that look at me and say, I don't know Silat Sarak, you're right. I know the essential elements of Sarak, which are the Jurus, which then are part of my extracting essential elements, which unveil the fundamental continuity connected to all the other arts. Does that make sense to you? So it's not a cut and paste thing. It's not the, as Daniel Santo would call the JKD blend, where you go from Savat to Wing Chun trapping, to Western boxing, to Judo, to Aikido, to Jiu-Jitsu. That's cut and paste. What's happened is this is creating a new animal altogether. So then, as you can see, I don't know how this model doesn't really work out, but then you add in, you know, the Penjak Silat or whatever's next, and then you add in the Tai Chi. So as you can see, this model is weak in its physicality, but conceptually you'll get it. So now you see how they're stacked. And so what stacked does is they're no longer just a design on a piece of paper or the ground. It becomes three-dimensional, where the straight line and the circle collide and create a sphere. And so now it's a spherical knowledge. And then I would suggest that once we found that fundamental continuity of extracting essential elements from the preeminent martial arts systems that I have multiple black belts in and quarter of a century in most of those arts or more in training, then you could bring in the boxing I learned from Ed Wishers, and you could do the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu I've learned from various instructors, and then you could bring in some Muay Thai training methods, and then you could bring in the weight training and the study and the embellishment of the physical culture for my entire life, and so on. But then again, all of these would cross, and then those would superimpose them onto the original core 5. And this goes on into infinity of understanding and integrating the arts. So a Wing Chun guy will say, I don't know Wing Chun, and a Tai Chi person might say, I'm not very good at Tai Chi, even though I've been doing it for 20-some years. At this date, in 2008, really, I don't need to know them. I understand their essential elements. And now I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate with Josh on the next download. Literally, I'm going to physically manifest what I just said.